Hello and welcome today. Here in the backlog, we're just sitting around looking at the inevitable destruction of Gamestop. Now, I'm sure if you've ever seen my collection at all, you're probably pretty aware I'm a pretty big customer of buying my games physical. So, obviously, I would like to think I have some 2 cents I can throw into this discussion. So, for those who may have clicked this and may not be aware, or any of my subscribers who aren't aware of what's going on with GameStop, so GameStop financially over the last few years has been going down, and last year came out to be really bad financially for them, like super bad. At the beginning of January, there was talks of selling the business. Well, before January, there was talks about trying to sell the business. During January, there became two potential companies that were interested. I believe one of them was the company that owns Wedbox. I don't remember what the other one was off the top of my head, but anyway, there were two companies interested in a bid war for GameStop. At the end of January, however, that turned into nothing, as GameStop said that they felt that selling it wasn't going to be good. And then even worse shit happened. After saying that they weren't going to give for sale, and this is probably why, because from videos I've seen, nobody's really said why, and it's probably because GameStop won't tell why. It's very likely the two companies may have backed out of the bidding war. And instead of making it sound worse, GameStop wanted to probably, because how they said it made it sound like it's like, oh, when we thought about financially, this might not be a good idea for us. But regardless of whatever the intentions of the statement and whatever happened to the two companies bidding for it in January, they pulled out. Or either GameStop or they pulled out. Somebody did something, but the stocks plummeted. I think they lost 3 times their value at the time, and it just plummeted severely. Seriously, unless they pull some miracle, if you have stocks, you probably want to get rid of them. Bad. But GameStop's not looking good. And as somebody who's shopped at GameStop here and there, dumpster dived at GameStop, and I have my criticism little stick, nanny stick, to wave at them, like I said, I have my 2 cents. So let's get into what GameStop. Unlike a lot of videos that are going to be super negative, I'm going to try and stick on to how GameStop could save itself, bail out in the mistakes that they've been terribly doing. So first problem is GameStop, of course, is a physical game store. And if you've been to GameStop recently, you've probably seen most stores change into, they're half a game store and half of what the fuck is all this shit. Now, sometimes there is some interesting stuff, but there are action figures, clothes, t-shirts, socks, random doodad, things of nostalgia, and just anything you can imagine. And it gets to the point where some of the stuff ain't even video game related. And then that's not to mention some of the stores that have a huge shelf area just devoted to pop figures, which in their own right are actually having their own crisis in the marketplace. Actually, if Company Man did a interesting video talking about those. It was either within a video of something else, or the video. I think he talked about the pop figures themselves in its own video, but there was a segment somewhere on Company Man's channel that did something interesting about those. But that's a whole different topic that we're getting into off discussion here. Anyway, so GameStop's problems. So first thing, I'd say in the early years of the PS3, GameStop's big problems were being competitive in the price. And to be fair, they've been a little bit on doing competitive pricing, especially when Amazon GameStop decided to go up against Best Buy's 20% off. Of course, GameStop did that in a different way, and then after that died, they killed that along with Amazon's system of that. So that was something down the rabbit hole. But one of the things I feel like, or the biggest thing that GameStop is missing out on, is the whole limited one train. Like, you are a company that's made your entire business on selling video games, and I get you're trying to get other pools of money, and I'm not necessarily saying you shouldn't have knickknacks and cards and things possibly to help add on some of that sales, but like, you're becoming less about video games, and that's causing less people to care about you. Now, GameStop does have its limited, like, they've had their opportunities of doing limited stuff, and they have their own brand thing they do with it. I can't remember what the company name it goes by that they own that does a few of their limited titles, but they've obviously been solely missing it, though. Whether it be not wanting to put in the work to make the deals or to go through it, I don't know. Like, you look at limited, like, there are all kinds of limited companies now. You got limited one games, strictly limited, super rare games. 8-Bit's been doing a few. The person who does City Rampage, I think that it's that 8-Bit 8-Bit version of like GTA type game. He's done a few physical releases of some other games, and there's just a bunch of other companies I can't even remember the freaking names of. Like, it's gone so bad, there were 2 Twitter accounts that are devoted to tweeting out limited Game 1 stuff. Like, it's that bad now. But it's like, here's GameStop having maybe one game limited to them every like 4 or 5 months. Limited one games has been pumping out like 10 times, and I know people specifically have been criticizing limited one games for pumping out so many titles in a month, but seriously, that's obviously making business. That's making money. Plus, GameStop could probably do slightly larger print ones than limited one games, but either way, they could be doing that and making some profit. Now, in what regards of why they won't do this, like I said, I don't know if it's because they're lazy, or maybe, like, say, companies like Limited One Games has talked about giving a good portion of money to the publisher, not the publisher, the game makers, the devs, and perhaps GameStop's not willing to give that much money or something, perhaps, to the devs and want a bigger cut. I don't honestly know, but I feel like you're missing this opportunity, because even if... Let's use GameStop's own logic. GameStop's own logic to how their business is to get you in the door, buy something, and then try to be like, hey, we got these Kingdom Hearts figurines, or we got these cards, and we got blah, 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 try to add onto the transaction. You could use the limited game as a entry. So, I mean, I don't get it. I honestly don't. I mean, they've had their few opportunities, especially, like, I think still one of the best limited things they got was Xenoblade Chronicles 1 on the Wii. Honestly, that was probably one of the best things they got to be limited in America at that. But it's just a train fucking wreck that they can't even get anything interesting like that. Like, probably the last interesting game they really got limited was probably Bendy and the Ink Machine. I'm not too familiar with the game. I know it's like this whole 80s, 70s black and white cartoon aesthetic thing and that, but I haven't personally played it, so I don't know if it's really much of a good game or not. I've seen some theories about and stuff, like in the story lore aspect kind of thing and that, but I've never personally played it. But GameStop just really feels like, and then there's of course the like they did it with Xenoblade Chronicles, oddly enough, where they made the secondhand used price like go through the roof. They could be like, I don't think it's a good thing to do, but I mean, from a business perspective, like, look at Bendy and the Ink Machine. When it ran out before it got reprinted, people were selling that for $60, $70 plus fucking dollars on eBay and shit, and they got a reprint. And, you know, I don't know if that value will retain after the reprint copies are gone, and if they don't do a reprint anymore. But when you think about it, GameStop could, because they could create a market. I mean, there's a lot of scummy things they could do, but I mean, like I said, they would at least make sense in some kind of business sense, you know. It's just like, I don't understand all these missed opportunities to try and get some fucking money. And then you have some of the more egregious things I fucking hate when it comes to when I start doing dumpster diving. So if you don't know about me with dumpster diving, because I haven't done it for like a little over a year, I've only actually started recently checking a little, very casually, not as in depth as I used to, recently, and I'm sad to say they're still doing the same shit, throwing away stuff. Now, if you're not familiar about a store chain, they have like 3 stores, and they're not like a big chain, but I mean, there's a store called Pink Gorilla. Now, you want to know something cool they do? They have a like giveaway bucket thing. They throw like stuff to give customers who either order on, like especially recently, because let's see, I think this was their 5th Twitch sale. Like, they do this thing recently on Twitch every month. One time every month, they're doing a Twitch sale, and they go to the store, and everything they show on camera is for sale, and you can whisper their checkout account, and they'll make a order for you and get shipped to you. And even if you subscribe to them on Twitch, you get free shipping. So if you have Amazon Prime, you can get free shipping just with your Amazon Prime from them. And it's a really cool idea in that. But I mean, what he's been doing a lot recently with that kind of stuff is when he's packing the stuff live on Twitch the following days after the stream of the sale, he's been putting the goodies of like demo discs, art books, and little knick-knack figurines and things in people's orders and shit. Like, you want to know what GameStop does with stuff like that? They throw them away. Like, back in the day, I found art books, soundtrack, limited editions, cases, artwork, all kinds of crazy shit. And I'm sad to still see that was a thing. The very first time going back to dumpster diving, I grabbed 3 bags from the dumpster and took them home in a container. Obviously, because sometimes there was drinks and shit. Now you don't want that in your car. So I have a container in my back seat that I put them in now. But and I looked through them. So, and I found the Sonic Mania art book. I found a soundtrack to something I wasn't aware of. A few posters, a number of cases, a complete copy of Wii Play, the one that has like the pool game in that. It wasn't as well known as Wii Sports, but it was still okay. It was complete case, cover, booklet, disc is clean, seriously, no scratches or anything on the disc. Probably was just too many copies, threw the copy away of that. Probably got with a system or some shit, or the person didn't take it, because their policy is if they like say he came in with his Wii stuff, and they said, well, we can accept the Wii system, all these games, but not this game. You know, some people will be like, you can keep it in there, and their store policy is to throw it away because of stupid shit of that. But whatever the reason, it's in the dumpster in that. So you got all these things that you could be using to create goodwill, to create, hey, you know, I went shopping there like it was 2 or 3 pickups ago, but from Black Friday sales, I bought a bunch of stuff. Access Games' own store on their website had a Black Friday sale, and they had a bunch of games and a lot of PS3 games that I still needed to get from them there, and a few others. And I bought a whole bunch. And you want to know what? They gave me a bunch of free shit. 2 art books, 2 soundtracks, a Japanese collector's fan for one of the games, a soundtrack that also went with that same game, a little soft bag, and I think there was one more thing. Oh yeah, it was a little blow-up killer. I'm not sure what game she came from, but that was a bunch of free crap. And one of the art books was a hard book, and one of them was a soft book. It was like, wow, a whole bunch of free crap. And I just got all this stuff on discount for Black Friday and that. It's like, I mean, I don't get, like, maybe we could, like, you know, keep a thing here and be like, hey, you like art books or something? After somebody buys something, be like, here's our goodie thing. Feel free to pick something out or something of that, you know? Create a reason for people to want to come back, you know? Like, it just seems so weird. They got all these games they throw away. Like, look, I admit, like, probably 95% of the games they throw away are just really common stuff that nobody's buying for very often unless they're like super cheap or something. or they're like older versions. Like a more common thing is like, say, like with Uncharted, you got the modern version of all the Uncharted games on the PS4. So all the PS3 games, they don't sell very well because most people are like, oh, I can just get the PS4 version, get them all together. Even though the online, it was either changed or it doesn't even exist in the PS4 versions. I can't really remember, but point is, most of the PS3 versions are really cheap, and most people don't really buy them too often. So things like that, or obviously like sports games, yeah, that's usually not always the case. Like there was that weird time I got one of those Call of Duty games for the Xbox One. I can't remember what the hell one it was. It was either one of the Black Ops or Ghost or something. It was literally the day after it launched. And I swear it was an accident, but it was inside one of the fucking box flaps. It was a sealed fucking copy. That was an accident. And then I found the Pokemon Ruby remake thing in there. It worked. I don't know if that was an accident or something. My dad, back at that time, thought maybe the employee threw it away, the steel ladle or some shit. I don't know. Weird. I also found the South Park Stick of Truth Collector's Edition with its game and everything in its original packaging. So sometimes it's really good shit too. It's just I don't really get. I found the Where We Play bundled with Gears of War collection in the fucking trash perfectly fine. So sorry about that. My mother was calling. She's not feeling good today, so luckily this ain't a live stream, it's a recording. Anyway, what I was saying, I mean, I even found the Where We Play Gears of War bundle in the freaking trash, and there was nothing wrong with it. Though I think it had something to do with, it was in an Xbox One box that had a sticky note on it, said that it was like being factory returned or some shit. Like I guess they had a problem with the Xbox One itself, but for some reason they just threw the extras because it was the bundle one that comes with that game. So I'm not quite sure the exact reasons for throwing that away. But again, it was thrown away, and they could just plop that. It wasn't like, I was back when it wasn't super old. It was maybe going for about $20 then at that time. Now I think it's a lot cheaper, but I digress. I mean, they're just so wasteful of games and things they could use to get some fucking goodwill out of customers to make them feel more welcomed, more willing to come back and be like, I could go to Walmart, but that GameStop gave me a poster and this art book and this cool music track or some shit. I mean, they get so like, I don't know, as a customer perspective, the thought came to you, but all those like little figurines and weird bonus, like, come by, pre-order at GameStop, get a poster, get a Winston figure, get I think the new Sean Jump game is going to have like a wall scroll you can get. I bet those will end up in dumpsters too, and that like. They throw all that promo shit away, whatever doesn't sell. They throw all that crap away. They could give that shit away. Like, I just don't get the idea about what they're doing. That brings into question, like, how much money do they spend getting that shit? Like, whose pocket money is all that crap come out of? Or is it two-way, like the publisher pays for it, but GameStop pays a sum of money to have it be exclusive at the store? I don't know. If they put any money into it, that's their money they're throwing away. Let alone all the freaking advertisement shit that gets thrown away. Do you know how many, okay, I found number of standees before, But I found ones they never even opened. They just got to the store, threw it away. Like, whatever it costed out of their money to fucking have that, just fought it into the trash. I mean, I don't know about you, but I know it's made out of cardboard and fucking inked, but I mean, having it cut and everything to be like that, to put together on that, I'm sure that ain't cheap. Like, I'm sure that costs some money. So, I mean, like, not super expensive, but I don't think it's like $1 to make a whole standee for them. I'm pretty sure they get charged a bit for those. So, And again, I don't know if that comes out GameStop, the publisher, or both of them. But if they have any of their money in that shit, they also loses out and shit. Wasteful in that. There was I admit there was not a big group of people who want standees and things, but there are people who like standees. And if I had more room, I'd get a standee 2, 3, or 2, or that. But, I mean, they're very nice in that. But I also understand that's not something. But they could do like weird little contests or things with standees or some shit. I mean, to be fair, most of them, if you go in and ask, hey, do you plan on doing anything with that standee when you're done with it? A lot of them will give it to you when they're done with it. Like when it's time for them to get rid of it. Like if they know you or take a number or something, like a lot of them will and that. But I mean, like I just feel like there's so many opportunities with this shit to get some goodwill. Now, of course, one of the big negatives, like you look up on YouTube, you read all these horror stories of shit people. Now, to be fair, that's not every GameStop. I mean, I'm not a very likable person towards GameStop's hierarchy. They have so many freaking problems and shit, but that ain't the workers' fault. And a lot of that type of bad stuff you usually hear about on like YouTube stories and shit usually generally comes from the district manager. Usually the district manager is the one who's pre-pressuring all those kind of bad practices, like the stories of employees who put that warranty thing that's worthless to get on your discs and just gets them extra money without your permission. The people who, like, you ask for a new copy and they sell you pre-owned copies so they can get their pre-owned status quo for their store and stuff. That shit, that comes from usually district managers pushing the living shit out of them to keep their damn jobs. Because believe me, there are some district managers that are fucking assholes. But there are some good stores with generally good employees who want to do a good job. Man, it's a real shame that they're the ones that suffer from all this stupid shit. Because these district managers who pull off all this bad corruption stuff to fucking just be like, oh, I gotta make my bottom line look good so I get better CEO money and shit. Like they just take advantage of shit and fucking use their employees like hell. And the stores that have those district managers really need fucking looked at. Like, honestly, I think the corporate needs to really look into all these bad, because that shit, you know, people talk about that shit on the internet, and then you hear it's like, well, I don't want to go. Because, I mean, I'll be fair, like, I've never really went to a GameStop that's had really that many bad people. Like, there's 1 or 2 employees I could criticize here and there. But, like, these kind of stories you hear on YouTube, like, the guy stalking you throughout the store, asking if you want a pre-order something, or just harassing you over what trying to get you to buy anything while you're walking around the store. Like, I personally don't mind if they just ask once, but yeah, I've never had, like, an employee just fucking follow me throughout the store and that. I mean, there's some pretty fucked up stories out there. Along with, like, I remember one story I heard where, like, a district manager was actually, basically breaking a lot of rules. Like, they were they bought stuff they got from a con and turned it in for money, and then removed the transactions and shit, and almost got the employee fired and shit. Like, there's a lot of shit. And to be fair, you know, shit like that can happen at all kinds of retailers. But I'm just saying, it's like corporate doesn't want to fucking fix anything about all this. Like, there's so much ill intent associated with your fucking business. Like, you really need to change that image really, really bad. And honestly, some of my suggestions, I feel like, some stepping stones in that regards. Like, I know there's some people who don't know what the fuck they're trying to buy, because, like, you know, Timmy wants this thingamabob, I don't know, video games and that. I know you get those kind of customers and stuff, but, I mean, you can't just act like a praying mantis on fucking everyone who comes in your door and shit, you know? Like, you need to be do a better image of being a better person, of serving the customer, not trying to fucking get them to haul out every dollar bill they have towards something in your store, you know. I mean, honestly, like the guarantee year thing, that's really not useful anymore. Like, maybe on a console. Can you even get that on a console? I think you can, but I'm not sure. But like on a disc, it's so like, unless you got like Monster Children or something, like I don't. Well, it's just giving them free money. Like Blu-ray discs, you have to literally on purposely be trying to scratch the fuck out of it. Like seriously, I've seen like maybe like one Blu-ray disc have scratches on it and shit. I mean, you gotta really actually fucking try. Like dropping the disc isn't. Oh no, it's minorly scratched now. It's like that would be like with DVDs, but Blu-rays don't have that fucking problem. I guess if you can apply that to retro games, but considering I've only seen one GameStop actually have some of the retro games displayed in the store, and while we're on that train of thought, why not get on to the retro market? So GameStop, what has it been, like 2 years since they brought back retro shit, but basically only to an online capacity, to a very small select hand store. I'm surprised one store that's in the big city mall area actually has, because I always hold the ones on like the coasts or the ones that have them in the stores, but it had a few, just a few, like 5. I think it was a box Donkey Kong Country. I think a loose copy of Super Metroid, and I think it was some original Game Boys games. I can't quite remember, but it did have a few retro things actually in its display case, shockingly. But honestly, I think GameStop needs to cut back on some of the knick-knack shit. Like, I would keep some knick-knack shit, especially when it's really gaming related. But like my local GameStop is literally like 50% this freaking garbage. Now I admit, obviously it's an opinion what is good and bad out of this stuff. But seriously, I didn't come to a fucking game store to see a shelf full of fucking socks, man. Come on. But keep some knickknacks, but fit some fucking retro shit in there. Okay, now I understand not every store is going to do that. Like my local one, it's a pretty small store, so I could understand they would either have to retain a very small selection or none at all. But they could still get rid of some of the fucking collectibles and put some retro shit in there, though. Seriously. But then there's one up near where I work. It is huge and devoid of crap. Like, I mean, it's just all the space that they could put more shelves in and actually have some retro shit in there. But no, it's just full of stupid cardboard shit all in the middle area. I mean, the whole outer wall stuff either has games or collectibles, but there's so much space in the middle area, and it's just a waste of space. It honestly is. Like, hell, the fucking secondary store near the mall area that had one of the retro, had some retro stuff, actually has a much better layout in those spaces there. But, I mean, I just don't get why GameStop moved away from like right now the retro market's crazy, like, and it's been crazy for several years. But another problem with it is GameStop has been notoriously been made fun of with the retro shit too. Like, you can just look it up on YouTube. I mean, you can find people who bought like some super whale game, and oh look, it's not an actual real version. It's a pirated version. And then they have to go bitch and get it returned and convince them that's fake and somehow prove it. And some stories find that simple, and other people have complications. And just, and then, you know, there's no details of what you're getting. Is it loose? Is it complete? Is the label destroyed? Did you actually test it? Did you clean the fucking disc? Like there's some menial knowledge of what the fuck you're buying. which obviously would be a bigger benefit of having them in. Like, here's one thing I really don't get about GameStop at this fucking point in 2019. Not to pull the 2019, but why don't they have a system where you could, you can literally look up items from a store-to-store basis on the website? So why can't you do that and then buy it? Be like, I want this game right here. I want to order it from you. Why not do that? Because those games that are hard to find, sometimes you can find them in a completely different fucking state. But you have to go and beg the fucking people at a local store to go call them and ask them to ship it to this store, and then you can buy it that way. Why not just make it where you can look for it online and then just directly buy it there? And then if they stepped it up and gave descriptions of the item and shit's condition and all that crap, then that would be really, really good. Like, super fucking good. But no, you make it so complicated. I had two good people that I used to get games from other GameStops of things I'm looking for. And they both eventually left. And now I have so many problems because I gotta essentially just beg the living crap or bug the living crap out of this employee to do something that is something they're supposed to be able to do. I've had one employee give me some bullshit. It's like, nah, we don't do it. No. One of the people that did it for me used to be the fucking manager of the GameStop near where I work. Like, it is and they even advertised it before. It was sometime like in November, October. They had signs, at least at my local GameStops, that actually advertised that service. So at that point, there was definitely no way you can argue that was just, you were just getting selective, extra help or some shit. Because I've had people throw that at me. But so many employees, I don't know what everyone else's take on it, but so many of the employees are so lazy to fucking help you take use of that fucking feature. That's why, like in a tip video I said, it's like, always reward the employees that help you. Show that you give them weightings and leave comments in the waiting thing when you use the code thing to weight them and that, and you get them more likely to help you with more shit. But some people just don't fucking care either. But that's a different thing. I don't know what is up with employees. Like, that is one of the things I find most annoying, actually, when I'm trying to look for something like that. So, if they implemented the system where you could just literally buy it from the store, like, say it's the only GameStop with a fucking copy of, say, like a PS4 VR game you're trying to find. It's the only one you can find in the entire country, and it's what you want. Why can't you just buy it straight from them and have it mailed to you? I don't get why. Because think of some of the advantages to that, man. It could be some really good advantages, some shit. That. And while talking about shipping, this is probably one of the biggest criticisms when it comes to its online store. It doesn't really give you a lot of good things when it comes to shipping. During, like, holiday seasons, sometimes they do, like, buy so much, get free shipping, at least the last time. I don't buy online on GameStop very often, so I'm not really sure what the current standard is with it, but last time I used it, holidays, they would give, like, a buy so much, get free shipping, but generally you have to pay for shipping usually. Them I've stepped it up maybe and made it more like buy a certain amount all the time now. I don't know if that's currently the standing, but the point is, they don't have very fast shipping. Usually they're not packaged very well, and you don't usually, at least when I did do it occasionally, you don't usually get good deals on the shipping usually, unless you do it during holiday stuff in the past. Like I said, I'm not sure what the current standard is. You're a game store, and your competition's doing better job. Best Buy and Amazon does guarantee things. Now, admittedly, like with Amazon, even though they guarantee it, to be fair, most of those haven't really actually arrived on time for me. But actually, a lot of Best Buy stuff has arrived on time for me, sometimes even early. NIS's own publishing store on their storefront actually also tries to guarantee the release date, and sometimes you can even get a day early or something. I remember there was one game I got from NIS, and I actually got a day early before it came out. So sometimes you get stuff, and I hear even Square Enix is apparently doing that. I'm not really sure. I've heard it in the etherweb. That might not be true, you know. Can't always just take everything for face value, so take that with a pinch of salt there. But GameStop could, step up its game, trying to look for a way, either compete better or look for something that's going to give you an edge over online business. Because definitely that's something I think is one of the big things, along with recovering a lot of consumer faith, honestly. Like, goodwill in that, honestly, I really think it would be an awesome idea if you could just fucking, look for some, find it at the store and just buy it directly from them if you can't get it at a local store or some shit. And you don't have to worry about the shipping you pay to ship it to that store. Because, you're probably going to make that on the customer anyway, but I don't know. So many freaking problems, man. I mean, I don't personally have a big gripe, like I said, with my local stores, almost employees working at them. My biggest gripe is probably just trying to get them to convince another store to send a copy to their store so I can buy it, because it's something that's hard to find. That's probably my biggest gripe, really, aside from, all the freaking waste. But that's a different thing. That's a corporate thing. I hate the corporate structure and the corporate attitude. The higher-ups are all fucking assholes who are bombing, like, the company. Like, there's a guy who does, like, a lot of hack stuff on YouTube, and he recently said, like, he would be surprised if they last to mid-2020. That might be extreme. I don't think they'll die as quickly as that. Because to be fair, look at, like, say, Toys R Us. Like, look up the video by Company Man on Toys R Us. Like, Toys R Us wasn't dead for a really long time. So that doesn't necessarily mean you're immediately game over. But it doesn't mean you're recovering from it that easily either. So it is bad signs, but I don't know if it's necessarily a big enough sign to say they're going to close up shop like next year or something. I'm not sure if it's going to be that bad, but definitely going to look in the dumpster still, just in case. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Say no more. But honestly, as much as I hate the corporate structure of GameStop and everything in that regard, it would be also sad to see them go. Because, the sad fact is, depending on where you live, GameStop may be the only real brick and mortar store for video games you really fucking have left. Like, in a lot of areas like where I live, where you're not in a big city, you don't have a lot of third-party small cell phone places around. They're mostly corporate. And, GameStop, be fair, GameStop came in, killed a bunch of fucking great fucking businesses, either bomb out or ran them out. They destroyed a lot of fucking good businesses. But, and now they're wanting themselves to the fucking door. But it's just, if GameStop goes under, there's going to be a while before anything replaces them. Like, it leaves an opportunity for new people to come in, start their own retro stores or their game-themed stores and stuff, and that leaves an opening for it, but how many years will it pass before people do that? It's going to leave a big hole in the physical market, and it could send very negative waves to us who like our games physically. Now, to be fair, a lot of us still buy a lot of crap online. So that's not to necessarily say that companies are going to immediately look at GameStop going under and be like, I think we should stop printing discs because, well, GameStop fucking died in America, so we probably should cut back on that. I don't think it'll be that radical, but it might give some people slight hints to slowly kind of go that way over the years. Now, it could have very negative implications. So, as much as I hate the corporate system and attitude these days, I don't necessarily want people to lose their jobs or us to lose a brick and mortar store. If GameStop would better itself, I don't think people would hate it as much. But really, they've just lost so much customer faith and goodwill and everything over the years, being so fucking greedy. It's really just odd. It's a bit of a shame and irony for them. It's just going to go the ways of the Blockbuster at this rate, and if they don't really change something for the positive. But those are my personal thoughts on things they need to look into. I would definitely get some more lockdowns on exclusives. I mean, come on. Limited One Games is freaking doing like 10 games a freaking month. Like doing like 2-3 releases every week on Friday with some occasional way. Like there's a next Wednesday is going to be an VR game, and that it's like, and you got all these other companies. It's like you telling me you can't get anything. Like, come on. You need to lock this shit down if you're gonna get some more people to come in. But they really need to focus on some goodwill, man, in some regards. Whether it's giving art books away, stop fucking harassing customers, getting all this negative attention. Like, seriously, it's just... And stop fucking throwing around video games. Go and donate them for the love of humanity, or give them to someone. I don't know. That shit rotting in a fucking landfill. I mean, if you... The thing that's funny is like, sometimes they'll throw something away, but it's a game they'll still buy, and like, you can find a lot of videos. I even tried it out myself with stuff I found, and we sell it back to fucking them for some money. It's just fucking irony, man. It's so stupid. But those are my thoughts. If you have any of your own personal ideas of things they could do outside of what I said, feel free to leave a comment down below. Please let me know what your own personal ideas are. I mean, GameStop, like I said, is one of the biggest game chains for physical media that we have left in America. Other countries obviously vary, but in America, a lot of the other stores like Pink Gorilla are very small places that are only locally located in certain areas versus being a chain across. Like game exchanges are cut back. I don't even know if game exchanges exist anymore. I knew there was still a few around several years ago. I'm not sure about now. There is the what are they called, Gamers. There's a few of those around where my sister lives. They're not too bad, but they're still only in certain areas, not as big, but they're also not super small. They're kind of a medium kind of in middle kind of thing. So, but if you got any ideas, please leave a comment down below what you think, and I will check it out and we'll see if there's any good. But I'd love to hear your ideas. Do you think GameStop is freaking boned or is able to recover from this? Because there's been times when prices have recovered, but anyway, thank you. Have a very delightful day. Until next time.